Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me here at the Dahlia Sewciety. My name's Kristen. If we haven't met before, welcome to the channel, which is all about sewing your own wardrobe, creating pattern inspiration, fabric inspiration. I've got some things to show you here that I had made for my 50th birthday, which was last week, so we had a wonderful day out. I've also got a brand new hashtag that I think you are all going to really love getting on board. We've got some support here to show someone very special. Also, brand new coat I've got on as well. I couldn't resist sewing up some of my beautiful coating from the online store as well. So plenty to catch up with here. And also tonight, 7 p.m, the Moulin Rouge box, bespoke box, will be launched. Of course, very limited numbers. Make sure you are sitting on the computer waiting at 7 p.m. to get your little hands on one of those. When they saw what was inside the Avonlea box, a lot of people loved that box. I had so many words of support and just how much people really appreciated the theme and the thought that was in that. So I really think this Moulin Rouge box is just as exceptional and beautiful. So spoil yourself something a bit gorgeous to treat yourself with. And it's just so lovely having something delivered to the home. Bit of a mystery for you all to see. So I really hope you're going to love that. So let's get talking about what I'm wearing today. I actually made myself a coat to go over the dress that I made. A Sewing Revival. I made one of these a couple of years ago now, and I did a collab with Alex Judge from Alex Judge Sews over in the UK. Now, one of our favourite pattern designers, of course, from New Zealand is the Sewing Revival, and this is a fantastic kind of beginner level coat. It can be made in a cropped version as well, and I've actually opted to leave the collar off mine because I wanted to really show off the dress that was underneath it. But this is some beautiful wool from my online store, a gorgeous kind of paprika red colour, really lovely woolen blend that is just so cozy. I ended up fully lining it as well. I just thought, why not? It's my 50th, it's my favourite colour. I love red as well as green, of course, but I really wanted something to sort of show off this dress. The mallard coat, I ended up tweaking quite a bit. Last time I made it was in like a lantana kind of lightweight woolen blend, and I made, I think, a 16. It was way too big, and I find that I really struggle with getting things to fit nicely on my shoulders, so I need to do a bit of grading because I made the 14 up in this, and I sort of halfway got through it and did a bit of pinning and shaping and thought, no, it's too big around the shoulders even still. And I wanted to add some beautiful coat shoulder pads, which you can easily stitch those in by hand in between your lining layer. And so I've decided to go for the size 12 up the top, grade out to a 14 around the body. And look, I don't wear this done up, although I could do it done up. I actually don't really wear my coats like that. I like to leave them open. Fully lined it, of course. That was another quite an easy technique. If you haven't made a coat before, it is not that hard. It's like making another shell layer to wear underneath it, and just did a little bit of hand stitching to sort of tailor it all in there. Very easy to leave it unlined as well if you wanted to do maybe some Hong Kong seams, or like maybe use some bias binding to finish off your seams, because it has got facings on the inner jacket. But yeah, the actual lining itself is not a hard thing to do. So this is a really great coat pattern because of the fantastic instructions. I love the mallard coat. You do have the option of putting a little stand-up collar or a rounded collar as well. So I actually opted to leave my collar off because you can do that too. And I ended up doing a top stitch right around the outer edge as well, just to make it sit nice and flat, because it is quite a weighty wool. It's got a lot of warmth in there. And sometimes with those layers, it can get a bit chunky, but the good old faff 1969 model vintage machine I've got, it's almost like an industrial machine. It has got that LDT foot, which is great for going over thick coating material. So I couldn't resist then putting the beautiful Arrow Mountain buttons on. Of course, these are featured in my online store as well. I love Arrow Mountain buttons. They're just so unique and so pretty for really teasing up things like a nice coat or a beautiful dress. If you can see up close, these absolutely gorgeous buttons, I'll link them below so you can see. They just match so perfectly And yeah, really, really happy with the coat. I absolutely love it. I just think I haven't done a fully lined coat for a very long time. I've got a lot of oversized style coats, and I wanted to do something a little bit more on the tailored side, and of course to wear over the birthday dress. The birthday dress, well, let me tell you, that was a tale to tell. I'd actually settled on the Cheeta lavender lilac color lily print, but I opted to wear something different because I got the whole inspiration from having this coating fabric in my store, wanting to make a red coat, and thought this beautiful Starry tiger patch fabric would be just gorgeous with it. And another thing I did see online that really persuaded me was some beautiful earrings from my favorite jewelry maker, which is Martha Jean, and she's in Balnarring here in Victoria. She made some beautiful love heart, they're called Sacred Heart earrings. They reminded me of like Queen of Hearts style. I just fell in love with them, and I thought, you know, those earrings would match this fabric just perfectly. And I also managed to find myself a gorgeous little pair of kind of kitten heel leopard print shoes, and I really struggle with wearing heels these days. I didn't want anything too high. It was just an informal kind of dinner at a local pub. We had a little function room set out there, and I wanted a little heel, but something a bit more sort of smart than what I would normally wear. So these were beautiful, super soft brand by Diana Ferrari, and of course they're made for wide feet. So if you've got wide feet like me and you can't wear anything pointy or too high, these shoes are fantastic. So I will link them below. I know a lot of you do struggle like me with shoes and finding comfortable shoes. So if you're wanting something a bit dressier, and I find that leopard print can be really kind of a staple, kind of almost like a neutral to wear back with a lot of patterns and prints in the wardrobe. So the dress for the birthday I ended up making for the day was one of my favorites. I've made it in the past before and loved it. It's the Deer and Doe Myosotis dress. I ended up doing it in this beautiful viscose blend fabric from Fabric Godmother, which I do still have in my online store as well. And I think a lot of you have been looking at this after seeing it on the website. On the newsletter, I showed this dress. I just love this fabric. And I had so many comments on the day. Everyone loved the kind of fun celebration theme, having that bit of glitz, a bit of lurexy kind of thread running through it, but also that whole love heart theme really tied in with the earrings and the red coat. I ended up doing the version with the beautiful mid sleeve there. I made a size 44 because I knew from previously that was my best size to make in this. I actually used the gorgeous little love heart buttons that I have in the online store as well, because I just thought it set it off just beautifully. A bit of a red splash there. And I always add a tie on the back of mine to bring in the shaping. So that's an extra I did to the pattern. Added a little tie just to draw it around the back to give me some shaping, because I do need that. Otherwise I feel a bit swamped by fabric. I ended up fully lining the bodice, not the sleeve, just the bodice, in some black sort of silky lining fabric. But I was going to do the skirt as well, and I ended up taking that off because I felt that it gave me too much bulk, and that the actual drapiness of the viscose needed to be free-flowing. And when you did have that lining underneath and it was gathered as well, it just kind of altered the drape of the skirt. So I took that off and just ended up wearing a little slip underneath that with some little cute little kind of fishnetty tights just to set it all off. It was just a really fun theme, and I love the fun print. And Fabric Godmother fabrics are just so beautiful and luxurious and really special, and I think their prints are just so unique and beautiful. I really loved wearing it. I felt $1 million with a bit of red lippy, but definitely that is a favorite pattern of mine. I went for the shorter version this time. Last time I made a maxi version. Look, I wear maxis all the time, so I wanted to find something more of a kind of knee length with that little frill around the bottom. So instead of doing the big tiers, I went for the kind of mid to the knee length straight bit there, and then the little frill on the bottom that's kind of a thinner frill, but really happy how it turned out. I added some little sort of dress shoulder pads in it to give me a little bit of structure, and with that lovely kind of mandarin neckline, I think the shoulder pads just give it that little bit of structure it needed. And added my party dress label that was from the Kylie and the Machine advent calendar, and just felt fantastic. So I put some pics up so you can see how it all looked. It was a really, really fun day, and I loved wearing that dress and the coat as well. So the first dress that I was going to make actually had a little bit of a disaster. I ended up tweaking it and fixing it up, but I just felt this was more suited to going out for kind of a ladies' lunch, which we did on the Friday. We went to a place called Hatter and the Hare, which is like an Alice in Wonderland themed restaurant, and it's just lovely for having a beautiful, some cakes and some, tea and coffee. Lovely for a ladies' day out. So this one I made with that beautiful Viscose Cheeta lily print. Absolutely beautiful, but I did have a few disasters with it. I was looking at the lovely Valerie dress from Forget Me Not Patterns, and it's been a very firm favourite dress of a lot of people for quite some time. Did a bit of research, made myself a bodice up in some remnant fabric that I had in my stash. Thought, yep, okay, bodice looks great size. I think I made the 46 I ended up going for, because it's quite fitted around the bust and around the waistline. Didn't want to get anything too tight around the middle because it's got a invisible zip, bit of fitting there to do. So I thought that's fine, I'll go with that size. So I cut it all out, did some beautiful piping work, and once I got the skirt on, I realised that the pattern I'd cut out, 46, was way too big around the middle, and the skirt itself was too big. The way the pockets, those slash pockets, were sitting, they sat too far around on my hips. And look, I always leave pockets out normally. I don't have much luck with them, and I really should have listened to my gut instinct on that, and I didn't. So here began all the tweaking and the mucking around with fit. Now, when you cut out that one piece, which is an A-line piece skirt, and it has the slash pocket detail, there's no gathering in the skirt. So once you've cut that all out, you really can't take it in. It does affect the way the pockets sit on the sides. The pockets were sitting too far on the hip. So I thought, look, I could try putting some darts in the front, but that altered the fit of the skirt. It put too much pleating around and it ruined the print. So I started having this horrible feeling of this is going to be a disaster. Like anything you make when you're under pressure, can tend to run into trouble. And I thought I could see myself just having a total meltdown over this dress. Even though I love the pattern on everybody, it just didn't look right on me. So I ended up taking the skirt off, shortened the actual bodice, which brought the skirt up, but the pockets still just sat out way too big. So my main problem was that the actual dress pattern was too big on me. I really should have done a 12, the whole dress, not just the bodice, and it really kind of got me unstuck like that. So I thought the only way I can really revive this dress and make it look good would be to take the pockets off, which I did, remove those beautiful slash pockets with all that beautiful piping work. It seemed like such a waste of time, but I wanted to save the fabric. And I reattached the skirt without the pockets, and voila, ended up getting the fit right because I could take the side seams in, get the skirt fitting better on me, and get the bodice lining up nicely that way. So once you start tweaking around with things, when you have darts in the bodice and pleating and that kind of detail, it really is hard to line it up properly and make it look and sit nice and flat. So the actual bodice itself I found was a bit too long for my body. I must be a bit more sort of short-waisted. Whereas on the models, of course, it looks lovely, but of course once you go up a size or two, it does sort of lengthen and make everything else a bit bigger. So I really should have made the 44 all over, and I did such a beautiful job on the invisible zip at the back, and everything was just so lovely on the dress, but this skirt was just causing me so many headaches. But it ended up getting it to look really nice, and I find with a little belt it gives you that bit of a waist definition. I'm just finding with my age now, my waist is sort of disappearing in that shape. I'm really struggling and finding it hard to give me that shape. And although with that Myosotis dress, it's got that beautiful draping and the waist cinches in, this is a bit more fitted around the middle. So I always struggle with things like that. So probably not the best pattern match for fabric, but I think in the end I got it looking really lovely. I did that kind of billowy sleeve with the elastic around the bottom without the cuff detailing. I didn't want that. Really happy with the invisible zip and everything else. And I ended up lining the skirt with a lovely lilac coloured lining. So we'll pop some pics in so you guys can see, but the lining just helps it give that bit of floatiness. But all in all, really happy with how it turned out. Some soft little shoulder pads there to give structure. But the raglan sleeve, usually I really love it on, and I think in the end I got it to look quite nice. But yeah, probably wasn't my overall image that I had in mind, but it really goes to show you how important it is to make a toile when you're doing something like this special, but toile the whole thing. Don't just do what I did and do the bodice, because yeah, you really can come unstuck. The label on this one matched it really beautifully. Dream it, make it. That was another Colleen the Machine label from the advent calendar, so I really loved that. But the fabric itself is just so special. It really matched those leopard print shoes as well, and it just looked beautiful. And I think it's one of those dresses that'll look really cute with a little jacket, like a biker style jacket over the top as well. So such pretty fabric. But really love the rose gold piping. I think it really sets it off really nicely, but was just so disappointed that the pockets didn't stay on there, because it really set off that kind of mirrored effect with the angle pockets and the angle in the raglan sleeve. But you live and learn. And of course, forget-me-not patterns. It's just always such unique detailing, and it's a real favorite dress of a lot of people, and I really would love to make it up again and give it a try in a smaller size. So if you're like me and you always size up, be careful of that, because you can have issues with things like pockets if they're sitting on the hip and they don't sit in the right spot. It can ruin the look of the whole dress. So they were my 2 birthday dresses. I really had a wonderful week as well. turning 50 has been a great experience. So I want to let you all know about a wonderful hashtag that we are running. Now, last week I had a wonderful message off a beautiful Instagrammer called Erin, who is loudly positive over on Instagram. If you follow me, you would have seen me sharing. We are kind of doing a bit of a collab here, and a lot of this was Erin's idea, although I'd shared the post about Katie from Paper Cut Patterns, who sadly has discovered just recently she had stage 4 breast cancer, which was really heartbreaking for Katie. She is in the midst of doing such wonderful things at the moment. She's about to release her Paper Cute patterns, which is her kids range as well. So just such a fantastic business she has going, and just everything at the moment, just all, the upheaval of everything with learning that she has that diagnosis and having to have treatment, and just everything that entails with going through something like that, such a traumatic thing to go through. I think that Erin and I both thought that we need to do something to show our support for Katie because of such a beautiful person she is, and always trying to get people inspired with her wonderful sewing patterns. Now, what we've decided to do is a hashtag that will be running. It's not a competition. There won't be prizes. This is a purely supportive thing to support Katie in her battle with breast cancer, maybe making things a little bit easier for her financial-wise. We thought that we could set up something like a hashtag, and we've called it PDF for Paper Cut Support. What it is we are trying to inspire people to go ahead and purchase a PDF pattern from Katie's Paper Cut pattern range. That way, it won't be any more work for her because she won't be having to post things out. And of course, going through treatment and being not well at the moment, we don't want to make life any more hectic for her. But we wanted to show her support, and we thought that this would be a wonderful way for the sewing community to give back to her. So similar to what a lot of the makers in Ukraine have been doing with their battle with the war happening over there at the moment, a lot of Etsy makers have had a thing where, you go ahead and buy a pattern to show them support. Well, this is what we want to do for Katie. We want to support her, show her that the sewing community is behind her. We want to get you to go and buy a PDF pattern that is new to you from Paper Cut Patterns, make it up, use the hashtag and share it over on Instagram, and that way we can get everyone helping to lift up and support Katie through this battle. I just think it's a wonderful idea. I think Erin is just such a lovely person to have reached out, and we've just sort of come up with something we thought would be an easy way to show support, that we could all post our makes and flood the whole of Instagram with this hashtag. If we can make life a bit easier for Katie and her family at the moment, I think it'd be really important. And that's what the sewing community is best at doing, that's supporting each other, especially women supporting women. I think it's fantastic. But yeah, it's just so hard for her at the moment, I think, having the new patterns come out as well, everything happening at once there. So I think it would be fantastic if we can show that support. So if you haven't headed over to Instagram yet, it'd be a great time for you to do that, and you can then join in on the hashtag as well, to share that hashtag and get a make happening. And yet when you do the make, share that little hashtag at the bottom so we can all see each other's makes. So there'll be no judging and no competition. This is all to support Katie through this battle. So take care, Katie. I hope this helps you a little bit. And I want to say a big thanks to Erin for coming up with this fantastic idea. I think it's just a really lovely way to show support. So thank you to everyone for watching today. I hope you've enjoyed seeing my makes. And of course, I had some beautiful well wishes over on Instagram for my birthday. So big hugs and kisses to all of you. I really appreciate every one of you who have reached out and sent me a lovely birthday wish. So take care, everyone. I'd love to hear what you're sewing. Let me know in the comments below what you've been up to this week and what you've been making. And I will catch up with you very shortly for a new episode. Bye for now.